Hello, New York City, a bustling metropolis unlike any other. It's a place where dreams are chased and where cultures from around the world converge, making the city a melting pot of ideas, people, and experiences. If the global diversity isn't captivating enough, the towering sea of sparkling skyscrapers that never seem to end is certainly something worth seeing. It's exciting, energetic, and vibrant, with infinite things to do and eat at any hour of the day or night. We've made it to New York City, the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps. The city's so nice, they named it twice. And the last time that we were here, we visited during the pandemic when we were still living in our little van, and we were on quite a tight budget during that time, so we really didn't get to do much. So you can say that this is kind of like a redemption trip.
And this time around, we're gonna be trying some incredible restaurants during the 48 hours that we're here. We're gonna go on some really cool experiences and hopefully have some time to just soak in the city and their parks. So without further ado, let's get started. So allegedly, New York City is the first place in America to serve pizza. Not sure if it's true or not. We have a pretty classic New York style pizza here. It's very thin and large, and we bought it by the slice. So we have a pepperoni and we have a margarita slice of pizza, and it's a great way to start the day. I cannot wait. Oh yeah. That's a good way to start the day. Slice of paradise.
A slice of paradise. I don't think I've ever seen a pizza slice this big. I dare say it's larger than Costco slices. Woo. I love the thin crust, honestly. I think I also like it because it's so much easier to fold in half if you were gonna eat it how I eat it.
For the past 30 minutes or so, we've been walking along Riverside Park, and it follows the west side of New York City along the Hudson River, and it has been so beautiful, and there's so many trees, so the shade has been very nice on this hot summer day. But we're about 30 more minutes to our next food destination, and I believe I'm starting to work off that pizza, so I can't wait for our next stop.
We've just come into one of the locations of Russ and Daughters, which has been around since 1914. And what's so interesting about this place is it's kind of laid out like a deli, but rather than meats, you have a variety of fish and cream cheese. And what was really cool was when we were ordering, they're like, yeah, you can try whatever cream cheeses you want, almost like an ice cream shop. And so we were trying all these different ones, and it was cool to decide which one our favorite was at the counter. And so here we have their classic bagel and lox, which is most certainly an iconic dish in New York. Let me open it up.
I like that paper.
Yeah, beautiful packaging. Wow, absolutely gorgeous. So the bagel actually came from the Polish Jews that immigrated over. You can find bagels all over New York, but we decided to eat it with the lox, which is salmon, and we have some onions in there, some capers, and also, I believe, some tomato as well. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's cut in half. Oh, it's beautiful.
Looks like a really good bagel.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good?
Yeah, it is good.
I will say, I really like the design of this place because it feels very modern, yet very like classic and timeless. It's interesting how they're able to do that. My favorite part about this bagel and lox is definitely the smoked salmon. They're very thinly sliced, and also the texture of it is just, it's so refreshing, and the taste of it is very unique.
And I would say that I would even come back to just get the smoked salmon if they sold it alone, rather than even getting it in the whole bagel. Like I would just eat heaps and heaps of that smoked salmon. While they were making our bagel, I was browsing their store and I saw this black and white cookie, and it's another classic thing to eat here in New York. And the history of this cookie actually dates back to Germany and Austria when they were making a black and white cake. However, when immigrants came over to the States, they invented the black and white cookie, which is still made out of cake batter, and that's why it's kind of fluffy and spongy. It's vanilla in flavor, and then the icing is of course chocolate and vanilla, half and half. Feeling it, it's extremely soft, and I love me a soft cookie. I'm gonna bite it right down the middle to get a little bit of the chocolate and the vanilla.
Mania.
For birthdays growing up in elementary school, they would often bring in these really thick, fluffy sugar cookies from the grocery store. And that's kind of what it reminds me of, because those sugar cookies also had a layer of thick icing on the top, and the cookie itself is just so soft and it crumbles in your mouth. This is like the exact same thing. Kind of going down memory lane right now.
After feeling it for the first time, it actually reminds me of this thing I used to eat as a kid called zebra cakes. You know, it's a white hexagonal cake, and then it has like the black icing and it looks like a zebra. And I guess that's why they're called that. I'm gonna see if it tastes like that. It's like a gourmet version of that. Whoa, that's very, oh my gosh, it really is. I actually think I like the vanilla even better than the chocolate.
I agree, I like vanilla more. We've just made it to Hudson Yards, which is kind of like this shopping mall, and we are waiting in front of the Edge observation deck entry point. We have our little ticket, it's for 3:30 p.m. and we have just a little bit more waiting to do.
I have been very nervous for this experience because I have developed this fear of heights. Like, I just really don't like even right now, we're in a mall and you know, it's several stories and the railing around is glass and you can look down and I'm like, that is really high.
Yeah.
And we're about to go up, you know, 100 stories maybe.
Chad is aging, as you can see, and he is developing new fears, as am I. I'm not afraid of heights, but I'll be here to support Chad through his fear.
Yes, shaky knees are on the way. But we have about 5 more minutes before we go. I've gotten a little iced coffee, which is gonna fuel me.
So he can bounce off the walls as he, you know, embraces his fear.
You're all set, 1 at a time, you're good to go, enjoy.
Chad's going round and round around the glass area. Go on.
Oh my god. Oh, that's creepy.
No?
This feels better. Oh my god, this is so scary.
This glass is super thick.
Yeah, it's like that thick probably. Sturdy, very sturdy.
Our time on the edge observation deck was very special because it is just so different from walking the streets. The streets, it's a little bit chaotic. There's a lot of noises going around. There are ambulances, bikers, cars, pedestrians.
Buses, trucks.
Yeah, it's like a sensory overload. And when you go up to the observation deck, it's just very quiet and serene.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite part of it. And while we were up there, Chad actually asked me to point out my favorite building. And I was looking around for the most colorful building, and I was not really able to find one because they were all brown or gray. And I'm just wondering if there's like a code that has to be kept up in New York that the architects have to follow. So let us know. I have no idea.
Yeah. But one thing about the edge that I didn't expect was, luckily, the floor was not all glass. There was only one section that was glass, which was like a huge relief because even just walking on that one section, I was freaking out. Like, it is just crazy looking down and getting that perspective and knowing that it's real life. It's not like VR or anything like that. But another thing that I liked about the edge is just, it gave you a lot of good viewpoints from the city, just the way that it jutted out, obviously. And they had the glass kind of at an angle, so you could really look down. Quick pause as we say thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Get Your Guide. In case you don't know, Claire and I have been using Get Your Guide for the past 2 years, and ever since we started using them, it has been so much easier for us to plan our trips and know that we're gonna have a really good time. In case you don't know what Get Your Guide is, they offer over 60,000 experiences in more than 3,600 destinations around the whole wide world, and when you book with them, you'll know that you're in the hands of knowledgeable local experts. Everything you could possibly need is in their app on your phone. You got the meeting point, your tickets and vouchers, as well as 24/7 customer service in case you ever need it. And one of my favorite things about booking with Get Your Guide is that they offer free cancellation up to 24 hours before your tour or experience begins. This has come in so handy when Claire and I are going on a trip and we want to make some changes that are last minute. And if guided tours aren't your thing, then no worries whatsoever. They offer a lot of skip the line tickets that allows you to pass the crowds and go straight to your experience without having to wait. As always, a huge thank you to Get Your Guide for supporting this channel. And with all of that, back to the video. So it was a really fun experience, but we're about a block away from our dinner spot. So we're gonna keep walking and get some grub.
More food, yeah, grub.
Some grub.
For dinner this evening, we've chosen to eat at Momo Cuckoo Noodle Bar, and this place has been around since 2004, and we're at their new location in Uptown. And they are most known for their pork belly buns. They absolutely look amazing. Huge slabs of pork belly. There's some green onions, some sauce, and this nice fluffy bun. And then under their bun section, I also saw a shiitake mushroom bun. And this looks really, really good. Any mushroom lover should be ordering this one for sure.
Wow, you made that look so good.
The pork is incredibly tender on the inside and the outside is very crispy. So when you bite into it, you feel that little crunch and then the meat just tears off. And there's also some crunch from the cucumber as well. And then the green onion as well as the hoisin sauce mixed together just gives it so much flavor. I'm a big fan. And of course this little mantou bun that it's wrapped in, it's just a nice little pillow covering the deliciousness.
All right, before I take a bite of this pork bun, I want to say that the aroma of this restaurant right now, and just the pork bun right in front of me, is insane. But I think it's because of the open air kitchen. You can just smell all the food, and we haven't eaten since, you know, it's been a good few hours. We've been walking through the city sweating. So the food, oh, this smells amazing. All right, cheers. Sweet and savory. The perfect combination.
I just took a massive bite from my shiitake mushroom bun, and the mushrooms taste like barbecued pulled pork, and it's fascinating because I've never had mushrooms taste like that before. It's almost like a vegan version of a pulled pork bun. The next thing we have on the table is their smoked pork ramen. It's extremely fragrant, and I already see those beautiful glistening pieces of pork sitting on top. There's also a poached egg as well as some green onions and a strip of bamboo. The noodles look quite delicious. It almost looks as if they've already kind of soaked in the broth a little bit, so I'm thinking they're gonna be pretty flavorful. It's just kind of brown in color, so that's my assumption of it. Oh my god. The pork is so smoky that it feels like I'm eating like a campfire. A very hearty and delicious and fragrant broth that's just bursting with like a smoky flavor. I love it. I love it indeed. Easily finished. Our server said we had to save room for dessert, and honestly, he didn't even have to tell us that. We always save room for dessert. So tonight we decided to get the horchata soft serve, and there are just so many seeds sprinkled over it. There are sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and the seeds look like they're coated in something, but I have no idea what it is.
Peanut powder or something.
Yeah, maybe some sort of powder. I feel like it's gonna have a lot of flavors playing together here. Okay, I taste the horchata, that very autumnal cinnamon taste, and then the seeds are just very nutty actually.
I'm a huge fan of horchata and cinnamon flavored desserts, and this is just amazing. I think it's very good. I love the toasted seeds just because it really reminds me of like the autumn time, but it's cold. So then it's very refreshing after walking in the sun all day. And apparently there's a sweet rice powder covering the seeds. Would have never guessed that they would do that with seeds, but I think it adds a little something something. This evening we have decided to go on a 2-hour sunset cruise. It is a beautiful day in New York, so I'm really excited to just watch the sunset, watch the lights of the city turn on. But we've decided to book our tickets through Get Your Guide. If you're interested, we'll link them down in the description box below.
It was super easy to get in. You just show them the ticket and then they check your bags. But this is going to be my very first time actually seeing the Statue of Liberty up close and personal because I've never been able to before.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm pretty excited, and we're going to be heading off on the Hudson River soon enough.
So we just passed the Statue of Liberty, and it's so cool to think about the history of that statue because back in the day, thousands, millions maybe, of immigrants came on ships across the Atlantic Ocean, and that was the first thing they would see when coming into New York City before they'd stop at Ellis Island to go through like booking and processing. And it's just so fascinating to think about the history and what led to all of the diversity here in New York City and just honestly in America in general. And I just feel very proud to be from this country and to get to experience such a diverse place and to have a life that encourages diversity and being able to travel with this channel. But anyways, we're going to continue to enjoy the rest of this boat ride before heading back to the city.
This river cruise was absolutely dreamy, and not only did we learn so much about the city, we were able to see a lot of it within these 2 hours, way more than we could see if we were doing it by foot. And so we highly recommend it. Again, we'll link it in the description box. But as you can see, the moon is out and we are getting quite sleepy. We might call it an early night just because we've been out in the heat all day. We're ready to hit the hay. So with all that said, we'll catch you in the morning for another 24 hours in New York City. Night night.
kickstart our day, we decided to make a stop at this gourmet grocery store named Zars, which has been around since the 1930s. It was a Jewish-owned institution. And when we first went there, we actually went into their cafe, which was a lot smaller, and we were still impressed with that. But then we asked if they had any pastrami sandwiches, and it was actually next door, they were telling us. I was like, oh, okay, next door, the deli, sure. So we walk in there, and it's this huge store. You can just tell the ingredients of everything that they're making is so fresh, and so it was really cool to walk around there. But we decided to order a few more things after going to the cafe. So today's picnic is definitely making my mouth water. I'm very excited to partake in it, and now I'm going to pass it over to Claire to tell you what we got.
We have such a big spread over here, and the first thing that we got over in their cafe was the bagel and lox. And then we also got a small matzo ball soup. It came with this little, it looks like a mix of a bagel and an English muffin. I've never seen anything like this before, but I believe you eat it together. I don't know, it came like this. So we're just gonna try it all together. We also have 2 slices of babka. One is cinnamon and the other is chocolate. Over in their deli, we went for the pastrami on rye, and this sandwich is massive. I believe this has really changed my definition of a sandwich. I've never had one this big and this weighty. Normally, when people would say like their favorite food is a sandwich, I'd just be like, ah, you know, that's nothing, because I'm thinking of the generic American sandwich where it's like a little slice of ham and some cheese. But now this looks good, and maybe I will also really enjoy sandwiches from now on. And then with that, you could either get coleslaw or pickles. We went with the pickles. When we saw this on the wall, we couldn't help ourselves. They offer a variety of strudels. We went with the apple strudel, and it looks so good. We got the half size just because we already have so much food. For how much we ordered, we actually finished quite a lot. Show them what we have left.
Impressive.
That's it. Yeah, I am full as can be, and I believe my favorite from that spread was the pastrami sandwich. I don't think I've really had a true pastrami sandwich before, and that meat just melted in your mouth. Whatever like seasoning they have on the outside of the meat, oh, it was so good. And also the pickles that came with it. I was drinking that pickle juice up at the end, and I'd say the second after that is either the bagel and lox or the matzo ball soup. The sweet stuff was also good, but the savory items or the salty items on the spread were far greater in my opinion.
As we've been walking around Central Park, I've been thinking about all of the movies that I watched growing up that were filmed here, such as Night at the Museum, Enchanted, Stuart Little, and so many other movies. We finally made it to Bethesda Fountain and Bethesda Terrace, which was originally built back in the 1800s. And since then, so many stories have just been created and shaped here in New York City. So as we're walking around, I'm thinking about all of the fictional stories, the real life stories, and it's just really inspiring. And overall, Central Park is just looking so beautiful today.
My biggest takeaway from New York City this time around is I feel like I truly understand the appeal of it. As we've been walking around, I've just started to realize that there isn't any other place that we visited in the over 26 countries we've visited so far that's like New York City. And it's because it feels like the entire world is in this one place. Any food you can ever dream of, they have a restaurant here with it, and it's authentic. And when you're walking the streets, you hear languages of all kinds. When you look around, you see people of every culture, every ethnicity, and it makes you feel just like you're a part of something greater, something bigger. I am just truly impressed and inspired by New York City, and also the talent that is here is through the roof. You hear people playing instruments of all kinds in the park, singing opera, and yeah, you just feel like you're visiting the entire world in this one place.
But we're actually going to be wrapping up the video here just because we're going to take some time to explore New York on our own. So with all of that said, thank you guys for joining us here, and if you're interested in following along as we travel to 50 countries around the world, then hit subscribe. And with all of that said, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye!